We start in the Hamptons, which is a staple of New York socialites that you haven't yet seen. And, you know, we all kind of dated each other, so we have to date more people or each other's parents. And I don't know.
If I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name.
Did you really think Blake Lively suddenly turned into a mean girl overnight? Think again. 4 years, she's been Hollywood's golden girl, celebrated for her effortless charm, impeccable style, and spotless reputation. But as new allegations begin to emerge, a different picture is forming. It seems the Blake Lively the public adores might not be the same one her co-stars remember.
I think it makes perfect sense that the girls that are so different are such good friends. I'm very different than a lot of my friends, but I just think that, you know, as long as you guys support each other and think highly of the person, and I try to surround myself with people that I want to be more like, that I see qualities in them, and I'm like, they're a really great person. I want to be around them more because I would love to be like that.
And now, the latest name to come forward. America Ferrera. The resurfaced claims are nothing short of shocking. According to insiders, Blake Lively didn't just have on-set tension with her Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-star, she allegedly bullied and fat-shamed her during filming. The movie, which went on to become a beloved coming-of-age classic, told the heartwarming story of 4 best friends navigating life's challenges while staying fiercely loyal to one another. But behind the scenes, it seems a very different story was unfolding.
Promoting the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, stars America Ferrera and Blake Lively stopped by Good Day LA, and the conversation quickly turned to Gossip Girl, like all conversations do now. That's when Miss Ferrera and I forged our own Sisterhood of the Traveling Contempt for Gossip Girl.
If you haven't seen Gossip Girl, just about everything has happened. Unbelievable.
No, you'd be surprised how much hasn't happened. You know, at the end of the first season, I was like, okay, well, what happened?
While their on-screen friendship came across as warm and supportive, the reality behind the scenes was allegedly anything but. Both Blake and America were young actresses navigating early fame, but their Hollywood journeys couldn't have been more different. Blake, with her blonde hair and effortless glamour, fit neatly into the industry's traditional beauty mold. She was the quintessential girl next door, the one Hollywood was eager to spotlight. America, on the other hand, was just as talented and charismatic, perhaps even more so, but faced an uphill battle. As a Latina actress, she wasn't just fighting for roles, she was fighting against a system that often saw her as little more than a sidekick. The imbalance didn't go unnoticed. Now, interviews from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants press tour are resurfacing, and the tension between the two is becoming hard to ignore. One clip in particular has caught the internet's attention, and it's sparking a wave of uncomfortable questions.
We have a few more characters already in the beginning of the first season that come in and mess up our lives even more. We start in the Hamptons, which is a staple of New York socialites that you haven't yet seen. And, you know, we all kind of dated each other, so we have to date more people or each other's parents, and I don't know.
Let the clip run. She strangles her. We'll be right back after this dirty mouth moment.
As Blake enthusiastically answers a question in the resurfaced clip, America sits beside her, visibly unamused. At one point, she even rolls her eyes, a subtle but telling gesture that hints at an off-screen dynamic far less friendly than fans once believed. On its own, the clip may not confirm what was really happening behind the scenes, but for those who've worked with Blake and witnessed her alleged behavior firsthand, it fits an all-too-familiar pattern. According to reports, Blake's attitude toward America wasn't just dismissive, it was allegedly cruel. Insiders claim she frequently made fun of America's weight during filming, not harmless teasing, but persistent, cutting remarks that made America uncomfortable. And when America expressed her discomfort, Blake allegedly brushed it off, accusing her of being too sensitive and unable to take a joke. Classic gaslighting. But the alleged mistreatment didn't stop with words. Sources say Blake held sway over the cast and used that influence to isolate America. From subtle digs to exclusion from group hangouts, even allegedly encouraging others to view America as an outsider, it became clear that America wasn't being welcomed the way Blake was. And if this all sounds familiar, that's because it might not be the first time. Penn Badgley, Blake's Gossip Girl co-star and eventual romantic interest, reportedly experienced a similar pattern before they began dating. Behind the scenes, Blake was allegedly working to damage Penn's reputation among cast and crew, all without clear provocation. Like America, Penn had no idea what he had done to warrant the cold treatment. The answer, according to some insiders, may be less about personal conflict and more about what America represented. She was outspoken, self-assured, and unwilling to shrink herself to fit into Hollywood's narrow mold. She refused to be a token or a background player, and for Blake, who was used to being the center of attention, that may not have sat well. The alleged treatment America endured during Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants wasn't just about on-set drama, it had lasting consequences. In Hollywood, reputations are built and broken in whispers, and those early years can define a career. While America would go on to achieve major success, winning an Emmy for Ugly Betty, starring in acclaimed projects, and earning an Oscar nomination for Barbie, that doesn't erase the toxic environment she was reportedly subjected to at the very start of her rise. So when America publicly showed support for Blake during her legal battle with Justin Baldoni, fans were stunned. Was it a genuine act of forgiveness, or just another performance in Hollywood's long-running game of politics?
Chismosas, it looks like amidst all the drama with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively's best friends and co-stars of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants have come out to defend her. And I need you guys to see what they had to say. They wrote, "As Blake's friends and sisters for over 20 years, we stand with her in solidarity as she fights back against the reported campaign waged to destroy her reputation."
The fall of a Hollywood darling. Is Blake Lively's perfect image finally cracking? 4 years, Blake Lively was untouchable, the golden girl of Hollywood. Effortlessly charming, endlessly stylish, and universally adored, she built a brand around being the kind of star who could do no wrong. From red carpets to Instagram captions, she portrayed herself as the relatable, down-to-earth it girl, the woman everyone wanted to be friends with. But behind the picture-perfect exterior, a very different story may be emerging. The most recent allegations to surface come from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants co-star America Ferrera. Some believe America had no choice but to publicly support Blake even if privately, she knew exactly what kind of person she was dealing with. Others think her gesture was strategic, meant to avoid reigniting old drama. Either way, it reignited interest in what really happened behind the scenes of that beloved coming-of-age classic. According to insiders, the dynamic between America and Blake was far from sisterly. While their on-screen bond radiated warmth and loyalty, the off-screen reality was allegedly cold, even cruel. Blake, with her conventionally glam appearance, fit neatly into Hollywood's beauty mold. America, despite being just as talented, charismatic, and deserving, found herself fighting an uphill battle not just as an actress, but as a Latina in an industry that often sees diversity as an afterthought. And allegedly, Blake didn't make that battle any easier. Reports suggest she mocked America's weight on set, not with harmless jokes, but with persistent, cutting comments that left America feeling excluded and unwelcome. When America voiced her discomfort, Blake allegedly brushed it off, calling her too sensitive and accusing her of not being able to take a joke, a textbook example of gaslighting. It didn't stop at words. According to multiple sources, Blake used her influence on set to subtly turn others against America, excluding her from social events, encouraging a clique mentality, and fostering an environment that made America feel like an outsider. The more people dig into Blake's history, the more this seems like part of a larger pattern. Enter Penn Badgley. On screen, Blake and Penn were the beloved power couple of Gossip Girl. But behind the scenes, insiders claim the chemistry was strictly for the cameras. Before their brief real-life romance, Blake allegedly made it clear she didn't like Penn and worked to isolate him. She reportedly painted him as difficult, someone who didn't fit the glossy image of the show. The result? The media turned on him, and his career momentum stalled. Sound familiar? The tactics, subtle exclusion, whispers, an air of superiority mirror what America reportedly endured years earlier. And it doesn't end there. Now, all eyes are on the escalating feud between Blake and director Justin Baldoni. What was supposed to be a dream adaptation of Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us turned into one of the most bizarre and public Hollywood meltdowns in recent memory. Initially, it seemed like a win, Baldoni, known for heartfelt storytelling, directing a major book-to-film adaptation with Blake in the lead. But behind the scenes, things soured quickly. Insiders claim Blake wasn't just the star, she was running the show. Script changes were allegedly made without Justin's input. Creative decisions were overridden. And when Justin pushed back, the whispers started. Suddenly, he was the problem. Difficult. Controlling. Not a team player. A narrative Hollywood had heard before. Then came the bombshell. Blake accused Justin of harassment and workplace retaliation. The headlines were explosive. But Justin didn't back down. He filed a countersuit, claiming Blake orchestrated a calculated media campaign to destroy his reputation, allegedly leveraging her husband Ryan Reynolds' industry connections to ensure powerful players turned their backs on him. If true, it's a disturbingly familiar playbook. With America, Blake allegedly used the difficult co-star label to discredit valid concerns. With Penn, it was whispers and quiet exclusion. Now, with Justin, it's a full-blown legal and PR war. And people are starting to connect the dots. The same woman who was once praised for breaking boundaries in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, America Ferrera, was allegedly painted as a problem behind the scenes. Penn Badgley, despite his talent and eventual success, struggled for years with an industry that had quietly decided he wasn't worth rooting for. And now Justin Baldoni, respected by many in the industry, is fighting to clear his name after allegedly being steamrolled by Blake's influence. Even subtler relationships are being re-examined. Tensions between Blake and female co-stars like Leighton Meester, Gossip Girl, and Anna Kendrick, A Simple Favor, are now being viewed through a different lens, not just awkward co-worker dynamics, but potential examples of a long-running pattern of competition, control, and behind-the-scenes manipulation. Hollywood is built on perception. And for over a decade, Blake Lively's perception has been flawless. But as more stories emerge, the cracks in that image are getting harder to ignore. So now the question is, can Blake survive the mounting allegations? Or is Hollywood finally seeing through the carefully curated persona? If history is any indication, this scandal is far from over. And as more voices come forward, the version of Blake Lively that lives in the public imagination, the stylish, relatable, golden girl, may soon be replaced by a far more complicated, and far less flattering, reality.